All right, so what I have going on here is a couple of things. One is I'm trying to prep the fuel system for when I change out this rear fuel filler tube. Let me show you what's going on here. Fuso delivers the chassis or sells the chassis. The fuel filler actually goes through this opening in the frame here and heads out to the side there. And the intent is you mount to the side of your box, and that's where it gets mounted. What EarthCruiser did is they rotated it and ran out the back here with the factory fuel filler mount, which you can see just kind of vibrates on here. But nonetheless, what I'm doing is trying to do a couple things. One is get all the hose clamps and stuff prepped so that I can reach up in here through the back when I get my new fuel fillers mounted to the side here, and so I can get to those. So I'm going to rotate these around, make sure they're all tight, make sure it's not an issue with the check engine light, make sure I'm checking all my fittings here, my fuel hose connections, so I can check all those and just get those all prepped for that. Another thing I'll talk through here too is this grounding strap. It's got like a loop here for a grounding strap that's run from here. I re-brushed that down to bare metal and then painted over once the bolt was on with this grounding strap over to a frame section here. It's also bare metal. That grounding strap used to be, pardon me there, Siri wanted to jump in on the video here. She likes to do a cameo from time to time. This grounding strap, the way the bolt stuff was put through, was sticking a bit up too high with just like this one, with the way it sticks up for my gray water tank that's going in here. I basically have 3 gray water tanks, and so just from the size factor and speed to not have to have one custom made, so what it can fit in here. So here's one, it's obviously just hanging down right now, it's about to get installed. The other one here, and the other one up there, it's already installed. So I just rerouted that grounding strap from this position so that that gray water tank fits nicely in here. Also rerouted the axle breather to the back here of this cross member. Used to be on the front side of this cross member, which would be impossible to get to once these gray water tanks and this other air tank are all in here. So at least here I can get to it from the back section here. So that's what I've got going on here. So I'm just trying to get things prepped before this camper box goes on. Because once this camper box goes on, this entire floor will be obviously covered by camper box, and then everything else will have to be accessed from underneath. So I'm trying to get this all prepped as much as I can for that. So one thing I found is this connection here on this vent hose the hose clamp was very loose, and granted it's not a very good hose clamp, so you can see it really bust out pretty easily. But that was loose. It could lead to this check engine light, but I doubt it. That's probably not causing it, but nonetheless, at least I'm resolving for what could have been that issue. And now I've got to rotate this down, this hose clamp down. There we go. Success. It was not easy. This hose clamp was very compressed and stuck onto this rubber hose here, but I was able to get free. Now I've got it down in a position where I can more easily get to it, or can easily get to it from the side here for when this fuel filler gets changed out. You hear that rattling in the bumper, so I'm going to put some protective tape on that right now to keep that from rattling. So there we go. That takes care of that. Next thing that I want to take care of before I take it on its really first drive since pickup and ready to go and get this camper body started to be installed on her. Got the key. Let's put it in, and I'll show you what's a bummer. That check engine light. See that? It does not extinguish. See, that check engine light is unfortunately still illuminated. It does not go away. So unfortunately what I've had to do is buy a vehicle code reader. EarthCruiser did not supply me with one. I asked for them to lend me one so I could read the code on this and figure out why it got triggered as soon as I picked it up. I had a suspicion it was probably due to the evaporative fuel system, since they told me when I was picking it up that has been a problem, and that the fuel cap that or the factory fuel cap or whatever, after they've made their modifications with the fuel tank, are not sealing well enough, and it's triggering off the check engine light. So I assume that's probably what it was, and so I finished my drive all the way home with that check engine light on the whole way. Still added some stress. I bought the code reader that they suggested to have, or that they're using, and that works. It did not work to read this vehicle at all, so I returned it. I bought another one, and same thing, and so it's been a little bit of a fiasco finding one. So if you have a Mitsubishi Fuso and you have any suggestions for a good code reader, by all means put them in the comments. That way myself and others can get that. I did end up finding one that seems to work. It is FCAR, and this is the F506 Pro. It's pretty expensive. It's supposed to be able to allow you to also clear check engine lights, maintenance intervals when you do those yourself, like a changing of fluids. So it did come with this adapter cable here, which you do need. You actually need this pin, something like that, and it's got a specific way it goes in as a little notch on that center pin. So that's going that way. So let's put this in. I'll show you the code that I'm getting. So as EarthCruiser told me when I picked this up brand new that I may get a fuel evaporative system check engine light, which I have. Unfortunately, I'm not able to resolve it through just checking all the connections to that system. EarthCruiser's solution is for me to take it to a Mitsubishi dealer to have them check out the system, which are likely they're just going to tell me it's non-factory fuel tank and the fuel filler is not properly installed. So I will have to wait until I get the camper installed and the fuel filler system installed, take it to the Mitsubishi dealer and hope that they can resolve it, or if not, take it back to EarthCruiser for some additional support. I know what you're thinking, that I just spent over $100,000 picking up a brand new vehicle with a check engine light from the modifications that company made on it, and that shouldn't I be getting some better customer service or support to resolve this? And all I can really answer is I really don't know. I'm just the customer. So what do I know about customer service and support? More on this to come. Thanks for watching. Please do provide me any suggested solutions that you may have so I can get this resolved. Thanks much. Coming up soon, installing the camper.